going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Spring game this weekend. Duck baseball on the road in Corvallis. The NFL draft is going on. Bo Nix is officially heading to Denver, a first-round draft pick for the Ducks. Oregon softball's at home this weekend on Sunday. A number of teams in the postseason, men's, women's tennis, acrobatics, and tumbling in action again today. And our 2024 Hall of Fame class has just been announced. We begin with Tyler Anderson, a Oregon baseball player, a Golden Spikes Award semifinalist who set school records for strikeouts in a game with 14 and in a season with 114 and in a career with 285. Tyler Anderson, the first in the class of 2024 for the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame. Then next, Kenyon Barner, who will be back at Autzen Stadium on Saturday, by the way. He versus Troy Dye for your guest coaches. More on that in a moment. One of only 10 Ducks in program history to be a consensus first-team All-American. Barner still owns the Oregon single-game record when he and the Ducks stormed L.A., in those Stormtrooper uniforms. 321 yards on the ground at USC on November 3rd, 2012. Kenyon Barner, Oregon Athletics Hall of Famer now. Alexa Peterson next. Duck softball player, earned All-America honors as a catcher in 2013, hit .424 that season, played on 2 Pac-12 championship teams and 2 Women's College World Series teams for the Ducks. Alexa Peterson also ended up in the outfield at one point for Oregon, showed a lot of versatility in her career. Alexa Peterson, an Oregon Athletics Hall of Famer. Next this year, Lauren Plum, the program's all-time leader in career assists. In 2012, was an AVCA All-America first-team selection and was the 2012 Pac-12 Setter of the Year. That Plum family, really good genes. There's no doubt about that with what the Plum family has done. Next for Oregon Athletics, this year's Hall of Fame class, Laura Raisler, a 5-time NCAA champion with one of the greatest names for somebody who races for a living. Laura Raisler, the winner of the Women's 2014 Bowerman Award. That's given to the nation's top track and field student athlete. Laura Raisler won it. She's a Duck Athletics Hall of Famer. And finally, this year's class, Eugene Wong, the owner of the lowest 3-round score in program history, was selected as the 2010 Jack Nicklaus Award winner as the nation's top collegiate golfer. A 2-time All-American in 2010 and 2012 for Casey Martin. Eugene Wong, Laura Raisler, Lauren Plum, Alexa Peterson, Kenyon Barner, and Tyler Anderson, your 2024 Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame class. Announced today, there will be a shout-out for him at the spring game, and then coming up the weekend of the Illinois football game, the Ducks will hold the annual Hall of Fame banquet. The 2024 honorees will officially join that exclusive club of 233 athletes and 30 teams that have previously been selected to the Hall of Fame. In order to be eligible, the Hall of Fame, by the way, originated in 1992, former athletes, coaches, administrators, and teams associated with the school's intercollegiate athletic success must have departed the university a minimum of 10 years earlier. And you'll notice Eugene Wong, Laura Raisler, Lauren Plum, Alexa Peterson, Kenyon Barner, Tyler Anderson, all right around 10 years or so that they departed from the University of Oregon. To the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame Committee, I don't know how you do it. especially now getting into truly the golden age of Oregon athletics with so many national champions, so many All-Americans, so many great teams, so many great coaches, so many great student athletes. Those debates are vigorous in that room, I'm sure. I know everyone on the Hall of Fame committee now, and that is a tough job. Rob Mullins said, quote, "We are excited to welcome one of the most diverse classes ever into the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame this fall. The class of 2024 symbolizes the broad-based competitive excellence that defines the very core of athletics at the University of Oregon. All 6 earned All-America honors in their respective sports and are unquestionably some of the very best to wear the green and yellow." That's Duck Athletic Director Rob Mullins, who is on that Hall of Fame committee, by the way. The Ducks will be honored. The new inductees will be honored at the spring game, and then, of course, that big banquet coming up next fall. Congratulations again to Eugene Wong, Laura Raisler, Lauren Plum, Alexa Peterson, Kenyon Barner, and Tyler Anderson, your 2024 Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame class. Now, a guy who may very well end up in some Hall of Fames down the stretch, Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, selected by the Denver Broncos with the number 12 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Awesome night. Nix becomes the 7th Duck quarterback ever to be drafted in the first round. He joins Justin Herbert in 2020. Marcus Mariota in 2015, Joey Harrington in 2002, Achilles Smith in 99, Chris Miller in 87, and George Shaw in 1955. Pretty impressive. Oregon has now had a first-round pick in 5 straight NFL drafts. Nix follows Penei Sewell, Justin Herbert, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Christian Gonzalez. Ducks now have had 22 total first-round picks in program history, including 10 since 2013 and 13 since 2000. Bo Nix becomes the first Duck ever to be taken by the Broncos in the first round and the 10th overall to be drafted by Denver, reuniting him with former center and Oregonian himself, Alex Forsyth. He was a 7th-round pick in 2023. And I want to mention, I heard an interview with Sean Payton, head coach for the Broncos. He was raving about Bo Nix, and he said that, hey, we've got their former center and Bo Nix's former center and Alex Forsyth, both very smart players. I thought that was an awesome compliment coming from a coach like Sean Payton. The 4th Heisman Trophy finalist in program history, the 4th Duck to be named Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Nix put together one of the best seasons we've ever seen by an Oregon quarterback. The NCAA record for completion percentage in a season. Bo Nix, officially a Bronco, officially a pro Duck. Congratulations to Bo Nix. Now, many a Duck that are going to hear their name called tonight, tomorrow in the NFL Draft. We'll keep the updated check-in to the Oregon football social media channels. But we've got a spring game to get ready for also. The game day timeline is as follows. It all gets started at 10:30 when the east parking lots open. At 11 a.m., fan shuttles begin to run from the Valley River Center Mall over to Autzen Stadium. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Fan Fest in the Wasikowski Center. At noon, the Autzen Stadium gates open, and at 1 o'clock, we'll kick things off between the green and white teams. Post-game, stick around. Matt Carney concert on the field at Autzen Stadium. And remember, it's free admission. Gates, again, opening to Autzen Stadium at noon. Free admission. Please support Food for Lane County. 3 non-perishable food items. That's what we're asking to help stock Food for Lane County. They do such great work in our community, and it is the largest event for Food for Lane County annually, the Oregon football spring game. We will also, again, honor the military at the Oregon football spring game. And I don't want to spoil any fun. I don't want to spoil anything, but I also don't want everybody to be like freaked out when you see a bunch of F-15s flying overhead right at about 1 o'clock. We'll kick things off a few minutes after 1 o'clock. The national anthem will be performed by a member of the armed forces. And there's going to be a ton of different military activation around Autzen Stadium. Shout out to our armed forces, Food for Lane County. This really is a great community event. The Eugene Marathon is coming up on Sunday. a number of great things around Oregon athletics. Now, what will you see on the field? Well, Troy Dye is making a return to Autzen Stadium. So is Kenyon Barner, your guest coaches for the Oregon football spring game. I have a feeling that Kenyon Barner, the new Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame member, will have some fun at Autzen Stadium. Troy Dye is the guest coach for the white team. Kenyon Barner, the guest coach for the green team. And today, the Ducks released the teams. On the white team, well, we can break this down. Look, I thought about today, should I sit here and go through and be like, boy, okay, here's your matchup to watch on offense and defense. What I can tell you is that Dante Moore, one of the quarterbacks, and Austin Novosad, one of the quarterbacks on the white team. And that means that Dylan Gabriel will be one of the quarterbacks on the green team. The split from there, I think, as you can imagine, is, well, pretty even. And that battle in the quarterback room, I'm just telling you, I'm excited to watch it under the lights. Things change. It's a game day evaluation for the Ducks. Things change under the lights. Yes, it's just the 14th practice. Yes, it's spring football. But when fans are in the stands, it feels different. Green versus white. The teams have been released. Because we have so many interviews to get to, I won't read the entire roster for you on the show, but you can check it out on the Oregon football social media and see who you think is going to win. It will be real football, by the way. There will be a few breaks, and the 2-minute warnings will be used. Remember, that's new in college football this year. The 2-minute warning will be used by the Ducks. There will be a lot of on-field recognition. Really looking forward to a 1 o'clock kickoff at Autzen Stadium. Jerry and Jorgie are on the call. I'll be at Autzen Stadium as well. Dusty Harrow will join us again on the sidelines. But we also have baseball tonight. Ducks in Corvallis. 6 o'clock start. Ryan Milano and I have a 5:45 pregame show for you across the Oregon Sports Network. Whoever wins this series, at least in second place in the Pac-12 standings. Yeah, they have a little bit of work to do. Whoever wins this series, catch Arizona. I kind of feel like whoever wins this series is going to win the league. No pressure. But we're coming down the stretch, and I think this is a huge series. Huge series for the Ducks. A lot of other teams in postseason around Oregon athletics as well. Acrobatics and tumbling with a win last night. They're advancing to play today. We'll tell you a little bit about tennis, men's golf, Oregon lacrosse game day in Colorado with the regular season finale. Oregon track and field is spread out over a couple events this weekend. Let's break all that down. Talk spring game. Here for some interviews, including defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy when we come back. It's a busy day around Oregon athletics. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner.
Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Duck football spring game coming up. We'll have the broadcast for you at 1 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network. Oregon with the 14th spring practice, and it all starts to culminate now. They'll have one practice after the spring game, but this is a big evaluation day. We'll hear from Tosh Lupoy coming up in just a moment. For Oregon, around the Pac-12, men's tennis advanced to the Pac-12 tournament in the Pac-12 tournament with a 4-1 win over UCLA yesterday. Actually an upset in the seeding. Ducks avenged an early season loss to the Bruins with a commanding victory. Number 7 seeded Ducks, they came out of the match as the higher seed. At least that's what happens when you beat the 3 seed, right? Congrats to the Ducks. Oregon felt pretty confident after narrowly falling in the first match against UCLA. The semifinals are today against Arizona, 4 o'clock Pacific time, if you're live with us here in the 1 o'clock hour. Good luck to Nils Schelander and company. Ducks with a postseason second day. You love it when you can keep playing around the postseason. Oregon acrobatics and tumbling also yesterday. And then women's tennis first, though. The number 64 Oregon women's tennis team fell in its opening round matchup of the Pac-12 tournament against number 41 Arizona. It was 4-0 yesterday. Ducks are now 10-13. And how about this? All 13 of Oregon's losses this season have come against teams currently ranked in the ITA's top 75 poll, including 12 inside the nation's top 50. You talk about a difficult schedule. Every loss is to one of the 50 best teams in the country. And in tennis, there's over 300 programs. Pretty amazing. The scheduling, the Pac-12 so strong. But women's tennis dropping that one to Arizona yesterday. And I mentioned acrobatics and tumbling. Number 4 in the NCAA championship tournament. They beat Mary Hardin Baylor yesterday. And I think had some ups and downs. After taking the lead in the opening compulsory event, Ducks were actually bested by the Crusaders in the following 2 events, saw their lead reduced as halftime approached. Oregon came out of the break a dominant win in the toss event and followed up winning 5 of the 6 heats in the tumbling. Ducks rebuilt the lead, and despite a few mistakes in the team event, Ducks emerged victorious, and they're in action again, acrobatics and tumbling today at 4 o'clock. ESPN Plus has the broadcast. Baylor. Whenever Oregon meets Baylor in acrobatics and tumbling, there's usually fireworks. Best of luck to acrobatics and tumbling today. Also, 3 different Oregon track and field events today. The OSU High Performance Meet in Corvallis, the Peyton Jordan Invitational in Stanford, and then the Penn Relays in Philadelphia. All over the place. Oregon track and field outdoor season. You start to deploy in different events depending on what's going on. Coaches, student athletes all across the country. That's what's going on today. And then Oregon lacrosse, a 5 o'clock start, televised on Pac-12 Mountain tonight. It is the regular season finale. Ducks win. They're in the Pac-12 tournament. Season continues. They lose. Things get interesting. I don't even want to break down the scenarios because if the Ducks beat Colorado at 5 o'clock tonight, they're in. Baseball in a big series at Oregon State. Second place in the standings on the line, and I think maybe a league title. 5:45 pregame show. We're going to hear from Mark Wasikowski coming up. But first, spring game on the horizon yesterday. Defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy, he met with the media, covered a number of topics. And if you've heard Tosh Lupoy before, you know he's also going to have a little fun when he gets asked a few questions from the media. Here's defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a Duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. The Duck DC ahead of the 1 o'clock spring game tomorrow.
How do you feel about the depth and deep safety?
Continued progress.
What kind of progress has been made by some of those young guys?
I think, we're really excited about the future of the young players. It's at times a frustrating process that I have to remind myself that some of the young men should be preparing for who to ask for their proms. And, we're trying to have them cover the deep half or man match and, accomplish what we want to a very high level. So, you always got to have, check yourself and have a little more patience with the guys that haven't been here as long. But from a talent standpoint, really excited about, the young group that's came aboard here and done a hell of a job adapting to the culture and what we're asking of them.
With what you added at corner with Cam and Jabbar and Sione in terms of compared to last season, how much more confident are you guys as a defensive staff about just the depth and relative quality of depth at the top at outside corner?
Yeah, it all starts there with talent acquisition. So now our job to develop that talent and then retain it. And we're in a much better place we were 27 months ago coming here. So that was our goal, to each room really, and that's not going to happen overnight. So, started assembling that more to what Coach Lanning and myself is used to from a standard standpoint up front, and then build this thing, in layers, and think that we've certainly taken some huge strides towards that direction of, establishing some depth, really at every position.
Where have you guys gotten better this spring? Where's the improvement been this spring from practice 1 to 13?
Yeah, I think I hope everywhere. That's the goal. So, we dove in deep on our self scout and really try to recognize who we have, so we can attack spring ball with who we can be, not necessarily who we want to be. So again, it starts with assessment of the personnel, and then adapting that to the wrinkles that we've experimented with, from a professional development standpoint, postseason, of where we could get better. So, I hope the answer is everywhere.
One of the young guys in the mix at safety for you, Tosh, is Aaron Flowers. What have you seen from him as he makes this transition to college ball here in the spring?
Yeah, he's a gifted athlete. What I love about Aaron is he loves ball. So, he's a guy that's I always challenge him to make new mistakes, and so he's a guy that's going to come back with a sense of urgency to fix what he might have messed up the walk before, the practice before. Gifted athlete, has got all the things that we knew going in from a point A to point B, elite stride, his vertical jump capability, ball skills, everything's there. So it's our job to channel all that in the right direction, and that's what we're trying to do with him.
What do you want to see Saturday, and how will you evaluate success?
I would say it's a successful day if we get 10 turnovers and score on defense 3 times.
You have 3 redshirt freshmen on the interior there, so just for guys who didn't play as much last year for obvious reasons, but what if Johnny or Mikhail or Terrence, what have they seen here in this spring to put themselves in a better position? Yeah,
it's been awesome, man, to see the front. By volume, I believe we had our top 4 defensive tackles all leave by volume of reps. So major vacancy there. We only brought aboard 1 portal individual. So young, really talented group. Again, we got to recognize that there's going to be some growing pains at times there. But excited about, the future and the continuing development of these guys.
What have you seen from Amari Washington and just his development at that position?
Yeah, Amari Washington, from a physical standpoint, measurement standpoint, fully capable of being an NFL player. So as we tighten his technique, make sure he's going in the right direction, as he attacks his playbook, starts to take some ownership of not just a waiting of telling individuals where, for him to where to align. As he masters that, which he's begin that progress, really excited about his future.
Coach, just kind of piggybacking from a couple questions ago, what are you looking for from the players in this spring game specifically? Maybe more importantly, what are you not looking for, and what do you not want to see them do come Saturday?
Okay, well, what I don't want them to see is play with a lack of effort. What I don't want them to see is not attack the ball. And what I don't want them to see is play undisciplined football. So if you take the opposite of those 3, that's exactly what we want. So we want to play with relentless effort. We want to attack the ball at a high level. And I want to see those guys playing for each other. That's what I think we've, I would like to say, holistic from a whole spring standpoint. these guys have done that, and have played with each other, played with a lot of passion. I'm really excited to be a part of this group. So when you get to wake up and go to work, and you're going into a building from a coaching staff and a player's standpoint where you have a bunch of like mindsets, that makes work really, really fun. So that's what I'm excited. I'm excited about the culture of this defense, and we've got plenty to improve on. That's what this is all about. So spring, we're going to go hit the road there, but I fully the expectations of the leadership of this group, nothing lowers from how we're going to go attack the weight room, some possible bonus meetings that the leaders, are directing without coaches present. That's where I think we take this to the next level and treat it just like we did in the National Football League, where, your best teams, the best teams that I've ever been a part of, are player-led.
Staying with the leadership, there's been a handful of players that have told us throughout the spring that a big goal of theirs this spring was to become a better leader. Who are the players on the defensive side of the ball that you've really seen grow in that aspect this spring?
Yeah, it all starts with Jeffrey Bassa, who, ended with great leadership. I think what has been noticeable on his film, I really challenged him that he's a draftable prospect. He's one of the best in the country as far as coverage in space, and to take his game to the next level of what he's doing on a first and second down consistent basis of his fundamentals and technique, physically striking blockers, shedding off blockers, tackling in space. That's exactly his improvement plan this spring, and he's answered that on a consistent basis. So, he's going to see his stock dramatically rise in the National Football League if he continues that trend. So what I love about that is he's been a vocal guy, but now on a consistent basis, it's easy to watch his film, and he's leading by example. In a back-end standpoint, a guy like Nico Reed stands out that, he's got an edge to him, the way he plays. Guys are always going to constantly feed off of that. Dante Manning's made some major strides there. Again, our newcomers, of course, Jabbar Muhammad, Jamari Caldwell, some guys that, we're putting a lot into and putting a lot on right now. We've had them from a limited time. I certainly could have mentioned a lot more. But I think those guys stand out as starting to lead by action, and that's what we ask of our guys. We don't need to have a bunch of rah-rah guys. We want both coaches and players to have juice with content.
When Devin's entering his third year, and Jeff's a proven commodity. Justin was a little bit limited at points here, and Bryce has been out with baseball. He's getting extended run. How confident are you that he's ready for an increased role, increased opportunity, increased reps? Yeah,
I would say Devin Jackson is arguably, if there was an award, he'd be arguably the most improved on our defense. He's a guy that has elite speed, not above average, elite speed. His GPS is constantly reading over 21, which sometimes is surpassing the DBs. But he's doing a much better job from a communication skill. I think, having a guy in front of him or with him in Jeffrey Bassa, you see that picture on a consistent basis, and you see the success that comes from it. So he's stepped it up dramatically when it comes to that, and now, it's not the old story of Bassa off the field. Our defense is the standard is lowered because of the lack of communication. Devin being out there has done a really quality job of that, so got to continue that trend with him.
That's a heck of a compliment coming from the defensive coordinator, that if you had a most improved player, Devin Jackson might be that guy. One of the mini Ducks that'll be on display at Autzen Stadium tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We'll see you for the Duck football spring game. Big series starts tonight for Oregon baseball. We're going to talk with Mark Wasikowski coming up. It's the Beavers in Corvallis. Let's hear from Waz next. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack back in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. 5:45 tonight. The Ducks take on the Beavers in Corvallis. That drive up Highway 99. But you know what's better? That drive back down Highway 99 after a win. There is just nothing like walking out of Reeser, Gill, Goss with a victory. Great feeling. See if the Ducks can get it tonight. It's a huge series. Mark Wasikowski makes no bones about that. It is a huge series. Ducks and Beavs tonight, starting a 3-game set, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. The schedule for the Ducks this weekend in a critical Pac-12 baseball series. Mark Wasikowski previewing it this week.
When you drop a series, do you appreciate the chance to get right back at it Monday? And then did you like the way you guys responded Monday?
Yeah, played well, pitched well on Monday at San Fran. It was good to get back on the field quickly after the weekend, for sure.
What were some of your takeaways from that Stanford series that you didn't get to talk to afterwards?
Swung the bat really well. So did they, unfortunately. And so, anytime you come out and you don't win a series is disappointing. That's the first time all year in the Pac-12 that we haven't won a series. And so I guess you can stub your toe a little bit, but credit to them. They played probably their best baseball of the year against us this last weekend. And, I thought there were a lot of positives to take from our performance as well, and that's what we're going to focus on.
You feel like some of those positives, obviously you said the bats got going. You feel like the offense is kind of starting to click after you guys put up some runs against Gonzaga and one against USF?
Yeah, and I say that kind of in reserve because, the issue with this group isn't a matter of whether they can do it or not. It's about whether they can do it or not on a consistent basis. And so, the consistency is something that we're looking to continuously improve. Don't want to sound too grumpy, though, either, because, this weekend represents, the two teams on the West Coast. Maybe there's one other with UC Irvine, but the two teams on the West Coast that have played the best baseball in the entire country right now. And so these two teams matching up this weekend on the West Coast is the premier matchup probably in college baseball.
And what's your level of anticipation? Just what are your thoughts on the matchup? What are things to watch for this weekend?
I think it's two really good baseball teams, playing against each other. I think there's plenty of body of work involved with making that statement for both clubs. Whoever plays best is going to win.
With them moving independent next year, how important is it to keep the series on the books moving forward when you're doing non-con scheduling next year?
I don't. I haven't even thought about it. Yeah.
Rotation, you guys sticking with the same rotation? I know Ian's become a real midweek guy there after throwing complete games. Same idea going into this weekend?
I figure we're going to probably have the same rotation this week. Ian's doing really good, on the midweek stuff. But yeah, he's making a case for being a weekend starter for sure.
You guys trying to figure out a way how to get Bazan out?
Well, nobody's been able to do that. He's projected to be possibly the first player drafted in the country. He's a really good baseball player, so it'll be exciting for the challenge.
What have you seen out of Don recently? He had home run against Stanford 2-for-2 that day. What have you seen of him like the last couple weeks?
He's made some adjustments, probably dating back to somewhere around the UCLA series or a little that week of the UCLA series, and so good for Dom. He's a really talented kid who seems like he's back on his own side now. Instead of being negative, I think he's really confident right now, and that's exciting because the at bats he's putting out there are really, really good at bats, and obviously anybody can use a confident Don Hillman in their order, and we're excited to have him.
Go ahead.
What does this rivalry sort of do for the sport of college baseball? It seems like it doesn't matter, where you guys are ranked or what you're doing that season. You guys both play each other really well.
I don't know what it means on the landscape of college baseball. It's the biggest rivalry on the West Coast for sure. And so I think the national media people understand that, and they're probably excited that this series is going on. This is the last time in the Pac-12 with the Pac-12 conference that this series is going to occur, which is disappointing to me, being in the Pac as long as I've been. But they didn't ask my opinion on the league situation. So bottom line is we're excited to play, against Oregon State this weekend. And even though it's the last Pac-12 series against them, then I guess there's another objective is to win the last Pac-12 series against Oregon State. So that's something we intend to do.
Going back to those inconsistencies, what do you feel like is the key for you guys to sort of fix that issue?
Just getting older. When you look at our lineup, you're talking about guys that have had their first 100 at-bats in a college uniform. Even though some of their bios say that they're sophomores or third-year players or whatever, they haven't been run out there before to where they can collect a bunch of experience and at-bats and innings pitched under their belt. So, really the first 100, 150, 200 at-bats is usually a first-year player. And we've got a bunch of guys that are probably in their second, third, or fourth year that are getting their first 100 or 200 at-bats. And so in some ways, there's a lot of freshmen that we have running around, even though they're in their second or third year in college. So just getting them older and more used to how the pitchers pitch them at this level and getting used to how good the stuff is and all that kind of stuff has been probably the biggest hurdle.
You guys have done a good job of creating a pretty hostile environment at home. They've got a pretty hostile environment too. Do you feel like your young guys in particular, you need to talk to them about that and prepare them for that? You think they'll be ready for the environment?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's great because it's probably the only two places on the West Coast that there's awesome college baseball environments. I guess you can include the two Arizona schools that can get that way too. So there's a few West Coast schools that really have really good environments, and this series just happens to be, two of the schools that can pack the house.
Some injury questions for you. Do you see Austin Anderson or Toby Twist getting back all this season?
I don't know that. I can't comment on that.
Kind of piggybacking off of all the Oregon questions, just what's kind of your message overall to the team? Just the importance of this series, and specifically this year.
I mean, I think the importance of this series is, the winner of this series probably has got a great chance to win the Pac-12 championship. And when you win the Pac-12 championship, then that means you're probably hosting a regional and a super regional as well, assuming you can get that far. Pac-12 champion is a big deal, finishing in first place in the league. And so where there's a couple other schools that are up there as well, vying for this opportunity, I do think that there's a lot left in the Pac where teams are going to be playing against each other. I could easily see that the winner of this weekend series is going to win the Pac-12 conference. It's not a shoo-in, it's not a lock, but I could see that happening. And so I would think that would be a really important thing to, other than just rivalry and other stuff. The message of the week is continue to improve, and that's regardless of who we're playing. The message of the weekend is there extra stuff, last Pac-12 weekend versus Oregon State, all that stuff. Sure, but it's the last Pac-12 weekend against any Pac-12 team that we're playing because the league's blowing up. So that's disappointing, but at the same point, this probably has a good opportunity to be able to determine who's going to win the league this weekend.
How do you feel like Casella's done after getting starts against Stanford, getting 2 outfield assists and a home run or 2?
He's improving. He's getting more comfortable. He's going to have a huge weekend this weekend. Time will tell. But it's really good to start feeling like you have some depth back on your bench to where, you've got a lot of really good players. And, like this last midweek, I think at San Francisco was really our first opportunity to be able to play like you have a thick bench of really good players, which is really nice. You can match up and you can do some things, and that's an advantage.
You like him at the top of the lineup instead of Betcher, kind of moving him back down once he saw that fully healthy.
It's just whoever earns it, whoever plays the best.
Maddox has played like a bat out of hell since he's gotten healthy. What are you liking out of him as of late, and what's it like having a freshman like that?
Well, we've got a couple of freshmen like that. You know, Ryan Cooney set the home run record, and then he's not even starting right now for a freshman. And so he's really, really good. And he's now behind Maddox because of how good Maddox has done. And so that's a real blessing to have. They're Oregon kids, the best Oregon kids we want to play at Oregon. And so, you know, when they see guys like Maddox Maloney and Ryan Cooney, amongst others, playing for the Ducks and having success, hopefully the rest of them decide to come our way too, because we think this is an awesome place to play, and we'll continue to be with the conference we're going in.
I think Maddox said they're roommates.
I don't even know.
What's the dynamic between those two, though? Like, I mean, how much do they push each other? How much do they maybe feed off each other? And
they're inseparable. I mean, you know, on road trips and all that. I mean, whether they're roommates or not, I don't have any idea. I just know that they're inseparable. They work, tireless workers. After practice, they're like the Josh Kasevich 2.0 guys. They go out there after practice and they're walking onto the field as everybody else is, you know, coming back from weights or a workout, you know, to get your mind right. An hour or so after practice, and these guys are going back out to the field on their own. That's the kind of kids they are.
To put that into context for everybody, multiple people around the Oregon baseball program, when Josh Kasevich was in his junior year, and he was the highest drafted collegiate shortstop the year that he went pro, multiple Ducks, coaches, student athletes said that Josh Kasevich had a work ethic like nothing they've ever seen. That's two freshmen that just got that comparison from Mark Wasikowski. Big time. 5:45 pregame show tonight. Myself and Ryan Milano on the call for Oregon baseball at Oregon State. Huge. When we come back, a little bit more from the Duck football team. Going to hear from a new addition to the roster in Jamari Caldwell next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. A couple new additions to the Duck football roster that I want to get to a little bit today. We won't get to every interview done by Duck football during the week. A ton of interviews leading up to the spring game. They are all available on the Go Ducks YouTube channel. Our crew always gets them there for you. And also a number of Oregon softball student athletes and Coach Lombardi ahead of the Sunday matchup against Northern Colorado. Those are available on the Go Ducks YouTube as well, and a few other Duck baseball players too. A lot more to get to, though, on today's show. Jamari Caldwell, a guy who had a heck of a story coming to Oregon. You talk about a guy who bet on himself and has now really started to settle in for the Ducks. Just listen to him talk about his journey here, getting to know Jamari Caldwell.
When you had the options you had, why was Oregon the place for you?
While in the portal, they was talking to me. They was the only team that kept it real with me. I wanted to show my versatility. They said they was throw me at the nose position and the 3-tech. So really, and I got a good relationship. It's a defensive staff. Everybody, a lot of guys, a lot of older coaches played defensive line, so they could relate to me. Help me through the process. Really.
What has it been like playing more nose here? You weren't doing as much two-gap stuff at Houston.
It's been pretty nice. My D-line coach, we go through a lot of things, react, attack, react. So it's not really too hard adjusting. It's just like playing the 3-tech. So, just something I'm getting comfortable at.
Coach Lupoy said that you're someone that has really stuck out to him in terms of leadership this spring. How would you describe your leadership on this team, and how has that kind of grown throughout your time here?
It's taking a minute to get comfortable around new guys. I talk to a lot of young guys and tell them certain techniques, just on the side, they could do a rep and, it may not look as good right now. He can't coach. You can coach everybody, but it takes time to, small details help a lot. So I'm starting to get real comfortable, being vocal. I don't know. I ain't know this transition was going to be like this. It's not too hard, but, I'm talking to some of the guys and, tell them how to react to blocks, things like that, really.
Take us into your process a little bit, Jamari, in terms of this been a long road. Started off at Hutchinson, and what happened at Hutchinson? Because
I was a offensive lineman at Hutchinson. COVID hit. I was doing pretty good. I thought I was doing pretty good. They took me out of scholarship. I quit football for at least a year to help my mom with her food business. I got up to like at least 430 pounds. I started to look around, and a lot of things wasn't working out for me. So I decided to walk on to Independence Community College, and that was a hard, being 400 pounds. Now, when I look back at it, it is a long journey, but, I kept my head up, tried to stay out of trouble. Schoolwork was my main priority. Don't party, ended up getting a couple offers out of JUCO, which was a blessing. I take a lot of small things to me for a D1. I don't take for granted, so I went to Houston, 2 years there, then certain things happen, and I transferred to Oregon.
So how do you go about making the call to Independence in the first place when you hadn't played, when you hadn't played on defense, and how do they even know about you?
So I had an offensive line coach that recruited me at Hutchinson, and he also left Hutch and then went to Indy. And I hit him up one day, and I'm like, hey man, look, please let me come in. And I was his only recruit, and I came in, and I was doing pretty good. So yeah, that's really what it is. I had just got off the couch, and I'm like, man, I can't just keep doing this. I want to play football again.
What was the name of that coach?
His name was Alex Baer.
With your transition here, Jamari, a lot of talented O-linemen that you're going against. They say iron sharpens iron, but
yeah.
How has that helped you elevate your game, and who are some of those matchups you like?
I like all matchups. I don't really, who is my main guy I go at? I go at everybody. It's a lot faster. A lot of guys here in this conference is a lot faster than the Big 12. I want to say Big 12 was a lot of heavier guys. Let me start. Texas Tech was a pretty fast team, but a lot. The center we have here, communication. They're really smart. So it really has me make me lock in, and like how I react to blocks and what they giving me, what they not giving me, how they sell it, and what they not selling. So yeah, they really help me right now.
I know you're taking on a bigger role here at Oregon, but with your game, Jamari, what's that next level? What are you trying to get out of this next year?
I'm trying to get better at all around knowing football. especially the nose position. That's something like me and Tosh, we talk about, like, hey, look, you could play 3-tech, you be dominant at 3-tech, but the next level, you're gonna know how you gotta have to play nose in the 3-tech. So, yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah.
What was it like entering a room where, aside from a couple guys, everybody's pretty inexperienced and hasn't done a lot? What was that like for you, and what's the spring been like seeing those guys grow?
Here, it wasn't really too hard. Like I said, when I first got here, I couldn't be as vocal because knowing the plays really make you comfortable. But the new guys, when they came in, I could tell that they weren't like regular recruits. These guys, they actually pretty nice. So you could tell certain things to them, and helping them is not hard at all. They go listen regardless. So, yeah, they pretty nice. Yeah.
What are you measuring in at now?
Me measuring?
Weight-wise?
6'3", I'm 330 right now. Yes, sir.
What's your target for this
my
season?
target weight? I played last year at 325. I'm a little heavier now. I honestly want to get down to 315, probably 315. That's probably I can move for my size as a big guy. So a lot of coaches they might not let it slide, but for me personally, I know if I get around like 315, that's probably my weight. 310, 315.
When was the last time you played running back?
Oh, I don't know I played running back.
They pay me to know these things.
I played running back growing up. Last time I played running back was, it was literally, I tried it in 9th grade high school, but that wasn't going. I was too big. They moved me straight to the D-line. Yeah.
And it's worked out for him, playing on that defensive line, hasn't it? Getting to know Jamari Caldwell a little bit. And when we come back, another new addition that you get to see at Autzen Stadium on Saturday, and Evan Stewart. Baseball on the horizon, a lot of postseason. More coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Spring game at 1 o'clock tomorrow. A few new additions that you'll get to see at Autzen Stadium. One of them is Evan Stewart. He thinks he might be the fastest guy in the wide receiver room, maybe on the team. All I know is that every highlight film you watch of Evan Stewart, he just makes a lot of tremendous plays. I think the Duck quarterbacks are excited to have him on the roster, and he's got a great personality. Got to know him a little bit this week, Evan Stewart.
Evan, you obviously had your share of options when you're looking for your new home. You probably knew it was coming your way, but why Oregon?
Honestly, it just, it suited everything that I was looking for. I just wanted to be in a great program that had, a lot of order and construction. And, I got here and everything's in order. And, honestly, everything is just so much better here. I love it here, honestly. I'm glad with my decision.
How much did it help that you considered this school coming out of high school?
Honestly, coming out of high school, I just didn't find myself moving that far away from home. I wanted to be close to my pops, and, you know, my mom was in Memphis at the time. So it was like me moving across the world, you know, or across the country at least. It just wasn't really clicking in my head. But, you know, after being at A&M and being close to home and stuff and seeing my parents and all my family and stuff, it was more like, you know, in order to grow, got to take it a little bit out of the box. So that's what I did.
You say in order to grow, what are you trying to get out of being here? What's the growth you're looking for?
That ball, man. I'm trying to get them passes, man. I mean, at A&M, we're moving the ball, but I mean, we weren't as complete as we could be, and we definitely thought we were gonna be better, and that's no taking to anybody, but I mean, it's just how it turned out. And, you know, coming here, we definitely got a lot. So yeah.
New school, new quarterback for you. What's it been like getting in sync with DG?
DG's nice. I mean, he's very direct. I mean, he's very smart with the ball, and he definitely knows what he wants, and he's a leader. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, all the quarterbacks have showed me great potential, honestly. And I'm glad to have a quarterback, because, you know, in high school I had a middle linebacker throwing to me, and then, you know, when I got to A&M, it was like 5 different quarterbacks rotating. So, I mean, being here, all of them are pretty good.
You working mainly at the X or the Z? Or?
Really everywhere, but yeah, mainly X and Z for sure.
What was the leg injury?
What was the leg injury? I actually had a broken ankle for, I think, after Arkansas, but I was just playing on it, you feel me? Just trying to make it what I could. So, I mean, I did pretty good in my opinion. So,
and they couldn't diagnose that?
I mean, that's not, I kept asking them. I mean, they just wasn't telling me, I guess. I mean, I wasn't going to push it. I mean, I just didn't want, you know, any negative to come out of it. I just was keeping it going day by day. So,
How would you just describe the competition in the room, and how has that kind of made you a better player in your time here?
Honestly, I came from a pretty loaded receiver room, honestly. So, I mean, being here is kind of like, it's kind of nice seeing all the receivers, because, like, especially like Tez and like Trayshawn, because, like, first of all, Trayshawn's like a massive human. So, like, he's really that big role wide receiver like type thing. And then Tez, you know, he move a lot, you know, quick. And, like, seeing the combination of, like, what I could be, like, putting all that together is, like, it's pretty crazy. And then, you know.
Pretty crazy. Evan Stewart, the rest of that interview on the GoDucks YouTube if you're curious. Didn't get to everybody heading into the spring game. There's a lot going on. Good time to be a Duck. 2024 Hall of Fame class announced. It's available on GoDucks.com. Congratulations to all those Ducks. Postseason for tons of sports. Baseball tonight. We'll talk to you for a 5:45 pregame show. See you then.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league.